Right, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast and welcome to another match reaction for Oxford United as we defeated Ipswich Town by 2-1. Delighted. Over the moon. Absolutely over the moon. Did I see it coming? No. Am I being too harsh for saying I didn't see it coming? I mean, we saw what they did to us on Boxing Day only a couple of weeks ago, but a very, very different story this afternoon in very different conditions as well. Foggy. Very, very foggy. Didn't see the ball, didn't see much of the game. The goals, I'm going to watch them back, but I imagine the cameras also didn't pick them up in brilliant detail. The conditions were absolutely horrendous. If the conditions the conditions were at the end of the game at 3 o'clock, I can't see the game going ahead. That's how bad they were, especially at the end and for the majority of the second half. But ultimately, we can look at what we've seen now. We can look at the result and whether the game should have gone ahead, whether the game should have been postponed in the middle of it, it doesn't matter. I'm managing Ipswich Town fans will have a slightly different view on it. Let me know in the comment section down below. We went for the win. It was almost a must-win for both clubs. Oxford, we needed to sort of get back in contention. Now in the top 10, which is probably the highest we've been the entire season, which is very, very good. For Ipswich, this does dent their title and automatic promotion charge, hence why this was a must-win for them as well. But I want to come back to the tactical side of it. I was absolutely, I don't know whether I've already said this and used this word, but I was mortified by it. Absolutely mortified when I saw that team come through. I thought we'd named 10 players. We didn't see a striker. There wasn't an out and out number 9 in that side. Matty Taylor, Joseph, Baldock's injured, O'Donko we thought must start. I mean, when we saw the formation had changed, even if someone had said to me the formation is going to change for this game, we're going with a 3-5-2 sort of. You'd say, well, you know, Matty Taylor probably will get in that side, and O'Donko probably has a good chance, and Joseph if he's fit. We went with Billy Bowden and Wilshire. We went with two players who have not really ever played number 9 in their career before. Wingers, really. They are wingers. But it worked. It did work. And it also allowed us to bring Matty Taylor on. And I think actually O'Donko coming on gave us that bit of energy. We know he can do that. The enthusiasm that he can bring when he comes off the bench. But for the majority of the game, we played with two wingers as those two centre forwards. And that was really, really intelligent. And you know what? We matched them up for a reason. You know, we matched them up because we saw what they did to us, the overload they had in the game on Boxing Day. They won the game 3-0. The first 20 minutes was quite open. They used the wide players, Leif Davis and Wes Burns. They are their real danger men in the wide areas. And when you play a 4-3-3, you can get massively turned over in that. You can get massively turned over because they've also got Marcus Harness and Connor Chaplin, other wide players, Broadhead they brought on, but these are type of players that also can double up on, you know, and drift as well. So the fullbacks and the centre backs in this case have to adjust and make sure they don't get exposed. In the first game, they massively did. In this one, complete change. You had Fleming going forward, but also helping out defensively, helping out Kieran Brown on the left-hand side. Anderson and Sam Long doing really well on the right-hand side, stopping Leif Davis, stopping Wes Burns from getting that freedom. We nullified them. We nullified those players and a lot of the key players that aren't the wing-backs and aren't the wide players that I've just mentioned there. But we know that's the area where they're going to try and hurt us. They're going to get the ball. They're going to fire it out to Wes Burns, who's blistering on that right hand side. Also scores goals as well for fun. You know, that's their output as well as their very, very good forward line as well. But that's where they can get into those attacking areas, and we had to stop that. We had to stop the source, and we did that really, really, really well. I thought Cameron Brannagan, that goal was really, really important for him, not just for the game, but also I think recently we've seen him maybe a little bit less confident. I think that goal could be really, really good for him on a personal level. Once again, Lewis Bate, I thought was really, really energetic. I thought in the press, where you have to really go at Ipswich at the difficult moments, I think he was just willing to just keep going and absolutely burst of energy every single minute. I don't know how he does it. I certainly couldn't do it. Many people won't be able to do it. Lewis Bate has got energy for days. Defensively, I thought we were generally good. The goal we conceded was very, very poor. Very, very poor. And I think Ipswich would probably be saying the same about the first goal that we scored as well. Nothing you can really do about Cameron Brannagan's wonder strike from outside the penalty area. But the first one that Yannick tucked away, brilliant for him as well. Of course, that sort of, I think he was that physical presence we needed. And although he's not a striker and out number 9, he is very, very strong and he has got pace as well. He can have his back to goal, but also can play with a through ball in behind and over the top. But I think he sort of wiggled his way into the penalty area, tucked it away somehow. Someone from Ipswich's perspective will be saying, why has no one got a foot in there? Why has no one got a foot in and stopped him from basically walking through 3 players and 3 very established defenders in League One that are doing very well generally and have done for the majority of the season so far. And then you look at the goal that we conceded about 3 minutes later. In fact, I've got the exact timings here. It is 4 minutes later that Leif Davis scores. I mean, how... the centre half, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, number 44, is it Donatian? I might have absolutely butchered that. That's what it looks like. I definitely haven't got that right. But we allowed him to sort of drift and run into so much space. No one went to him. No one closed him down. Then he passes it off to Harness. He puts a ball into the area, and we didn't really defend our back post well either. Which, it is a big concern. But it all comes from a defender basically running from comfortably his own half into our half, and then having the freedom to basically a ball into the penalty area after he's delivered to the wide player Harness. So that is a real concern, and that's something that, again, is really avoidable. And then Cameron Brannagan's strike, I didn't really see a great angle of it. It was so foggy. By the time it got to the second half, I couldn't even see the stand that was opposite me. It was just mental. Crazy conditions. Like I said, if the conditions were like that at 3 o'clock, I couldn't have seen the game go ahead. McKenna was sort of saying, I think there's a bit of contrast in views on whether the game should have continued. I believe the rule is after 70 minutes, it will get abandoned, but I think the score is how it is when it finishes. I think it has to get to about 70 minutes. Definitely go and say if that is right or wrong in the comment section, but I think that might be right. So you can understand it at 1-1. For Ipswich, it's not a great point, really. And for Oxford, although you probably would take a point in the circumstances, we also do need to win the game. And now we did go on and win it. You feel like a little bit relieved that game did continue, but I completely understand Town fans, they're going to be frustrated by it. And if Kieran McKenna did generally want the game to be called off, I'm sure there'd be a little bit of controversy behind it. But the game continued. I believe the referee had to speak to both managers. So a little bit weird a little bit strange. And they would have made a difference. I think actually Oxford, I don't know whether I was the only one that noticed it, but I think we actually played long far more. And Kieran McKenna mentioned it as well. And maybe it was the weather that forced us to go a little bit longer, and when it was quite difficult to see and the vision was limited, maybe that is a different way of approaching the game. But I actually also think as well, Kieran McKenna said it, we played like no other Oxford Carl Robinson side has ever played before. Not that we were incredible, we weren't sort of looking around going, who are these lot? Who are these lot? These are some different breed of players. You could still see, of course, this is this is League One, this is Oxford United, and the players are the same. But in terms of, we were going longer, we were going more direct. I thought we showed a lot of grit. Like I say, we changed the system, which they were not expecting. And even if we had changed the system, we have played a three at the back before. You thought we probably would be going Matty Taylor up front or O'Donker up front. We went with two players that I don't think anyone would have expected to start leading the line. Although I think going with Wilshire and Billy Bowden, everyone will say it was a genius. I think a genius master plan from Robinson. Wilshire worked. Bowden he struggled. He did struggle in the game. I wouldn't have minded to still see O'Donker start with Yannick, and if that is something that happens in the future, I think Matty Taylor now is somebody can impact the game from the bench. I don't think starting is a sensible idea, especially not in this type of game. We are not going to have the majority of possession, and you're going to be putting loads of balls into the penalty area for a fox in the box striker. That isn't the type of game, and that doesn't really suit Taylor. But Billy Bowden maybe could have done a little bit more, but in a system, he probably got away with it, to be honest. He probably did get away with it, and no one will be, and he shouldn't be, saying horrendous things about his performance, because it wasn't that bad, but I think he could have affected the game in better ways and in more ways. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. A couple of stats as well I want to sort of go through. 58% possession to the away side, 17 shots, 6 on target. Some big chances for Ipswich, some really big chances. One scramble in the penalty area in the second half. How that did not go in, we'll be saying, I know this is you'll be pulling your hair out, Ipswich fans right now. I'm going to speak about luck here. Oxford, and I'm not expecting anyone to get their violins out. We have been slightly unlucky in recent weeks. Sheffield Wednesday missing the penalty in the last minute. Lots of different factors with injuries as well off the field, or forcing players to be off the field, should I say. A little bit of luck I think we did ride, to be honest. How that ball did not scramble over the line, I'll never know, but I'll take it. I saw when it didn't cross the line, and when Simon Eastwood clutched onto it, it was like we scored another goal. I'll be honest, it was like we scored another goal. So that was a nice, refreshing piece of other-end excitement, if you like. And yeah, they had another chance as well. Hit the crossbar at the other end. You did have chances. You can see you had more possession. You have 17 shots, 6 on target. Actually, the shots aren't massively different in terms of numbers. 4 more total shots, but only 1 more shot on target. The same off target. You had more corners. I thought set pieces. We know the whole thing about John Messina leaving the football club. He was our set piece coach. At times was a little bit shaky from set pieces, which, was a little bit nervy. But again, tactically, the players and the staff have had to adjust to that because you are, changing that set piece. It sounds like a set piece coach doesn't play a massive role in the grand scheme of things. They are a big aspect of an infield and on-field, or infield, it works either way, part of the game. So to have to adjust to that from a marking perspective, of course, is significant. But in the grand scheme of things, to round it all up, you can see 10th in the league. You can't see, but I can visualise it for you. You can look at the league table, of course, if you like to. But 10th in the league now for Oxford United, the highest position I believe Oxford have been in all season. Back-to-back wins, 35 points from 26 games now. Same amount of defeats than wins, which is always positive. But it's open. It really, really is open. Barnsley are on 43 points. Of course, they're the first team in that top 6. They won today, which is massive for them. Not great for us. And yeah, that is something that we have to look at. And again, it's about the next games now. We've got Wycombe. Of course, they're going to have a couple of games at hand on the teams around them. They didn't play today. Their game against Bristol Rovers got called off. For Ipswich, haven't won a game in the last 4. Haven't won a game in their last 4, like I said. Now 10 points behind first place. They have got a game in hand. They can shorten that to 7. But 10 points is a lot of points. And Plymouth at the moment, they're looking relentless. Sheffield Wednesday won as well. They look even more relentless, really, when you look at the form. Both, of course, doing exceptionally well. So Ipswich now, it looks like it could be, it could be a real challenge. Still a lot of games to be played, and I think there were aspects of it, but nowhere near the sort of side we saw on Boxing Day. Maybe home advantage for Oxford did play a big part in that. Conditions, I 100% respect that. But again, there's some quality players on that pitch, and quite a similar side that was fielded a couple of weeks ago. So, interesting. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Delighted from my point of view, as you can imagine. And bring on Wycombe on Tuesday. Roundup should be out tomorrow. Bit of a busy schedule tomorrow. I'm moving back to university and moving back to London. So, the different setup in the background will return, but no, I look forward to that. Look forward to going back and creating the content there. So there might be a little bit of delay on the roundup, but it will be out tomorrow. And I can't wait to hear the wider thoughts of the League One fan bases as well. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you all very, very soon. Great win for Oxford United. For Ipswich is a little bit of a dent. Let's wait and see what happens for the rest of the season. Take care.